Hi guys, welcome back to my class. I'm your Korean teacher, Emma from seemile. Wow, it's already your 17th class today. Do you remember what the last class was about?
Yes, you learned the location-related nouns like 옆, 앞, 오른쪽, 왼쪽, and practiced using them along with the location-related particle 에 to create several sentences. I mentioned at the end of the last class that this time you're going to learn in detail about words formed by combining a noun with 하다. Before that, let's first take a look at what new vocabulary will be used in today's lesson. Please repeat after me out loud as a memory aid. 매일, 운동하다, 오전, 도착하다, 점심시간, 아내, 전화하다, 방, 청소하다, 주말, 공부하다, 사용하다, 함께, 식사하다, 영화표, 예매하다, 고궁, 구경하다. Alright then, let's move on to page 122. First, while watching the following video, please notice what noun plus 하다 verb combinations are used to describe Aram and her friend's current daily routine.
아람이는 매일 아침에 운동해요.
히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착해요.
로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화해요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소해요.
하다 is a suffix attached to a noun, turning it into a verb or an adjective. During the video, you might have noticed some of the words formed in this way, such as 운동하다, 도착하다, 전화하다, 청소하다. Then, how are these words conjugated in the present tense? Well, do you remember how to conjugate normal verbs or adjectives used to describe current facts in an informal setting? Yes. If the last vowel of the word stem is either o or a, then ayo is attached. Otherwise, we use 어요. Now, there's one more thing to remember, that if the verb or adjective ends in the 하다 suffix, then we need to change that 하다 into 해요. So, 운동하다 should be changed not to 운동하요, but 운동해요. For 도착하다, erase the 하다 and add 해요. 도착해요. 전화하다, 전화해요. 청소하다, 청소해요. When speaking to your peers or close friends, just erase the 요 as in 운동해, 도착해, 전화해, 청소해. To speak formally, just attach 비읍니다 to the stem as usual as in 운동합니다, 도착합니다, 전화합니다, 청소합니다. Nothing new, right? Now, let's use informal endings as we practice. How would you say 아람 exercises every morning? Every morning is 매일 아침, and we would need to attach the particle 에 to indicate that 매일 아침 is the time when the subject does a certain action. So, 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동해요. Well, let me give you one more tip about this type of verb. In this type of combination between a noun and 하다, the link is weak. So those two parts can be easily separated, as is the case in this example. 운동을 해요. As you can see, the noun portion is used as if it's the object of the sentence, and the 하다 portion as a verb that means to do something. Well, there's no need to memorize this technical explanation. Just remember that you can separate these noun plus 하다 combination verbs by adding the object marking particle 을을 in between. Just keep in mind that this puts just a bit of more emphasis on the noun portion. So another way to say 아람 exercises every morning is 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동을 해요. Here are some more sentences you can practice with. Please pause the video for a moment. Try to say them out loud in Korean and then hit replay to check your answers. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착해요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착을 해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화를 해요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소해요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소를 해요. Technically, it's not grammatically incorrect to have double objects, but at times, might be better not to repeat a word. It would be more natural to use the particle just once, as in 조는 저녁에 방을 청소해요, or 조는 저녁에 방 청소를 해요. But again, there's no problem with saying 조는 저녁에 방을 청소를 해요, especially if you're trying to emphasize 청소. Good job. Well, this 하다 suffix can be attached to a noun not only to create verbs but adjectives as well, like 깨끗하다, which means to be clean. One point you need to be careful about is that, unlike with 하다 verbs, the link between the noun and 하다 is really strong in the resulting 하다 adjectives. So those combinations can't be easily separated. So if you want to say that John's room is clean, you would have to say 존의 방이 깨끗해요, not 존의 방이 깨끗을 해요. Okay, now please repeat after me out loud. 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동해요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화해요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소해요. At times we need negative sentences too, don't we? Let's watch a video with some examples of how sentences in the negative form are made.
아람이는 매일 아침에 운동 안 해요.
히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착 안 해요.
로아는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화하지 않아요.
조는 저녁에 방을 청소하지 않아요.
Do you remember how to make negative sentences in Korean? Yes. One way is by attaching 지 않아요 to the stem, and the other is by adding 안 before the verb or adjective. You've also already learned that for noun plus 하다 combination verbs, you have to separate them and put 안 between, as in 운동 안 해요 or 운동을 안 해요. But to iterate the point one more time, unlike 하다 verbs, the link between the noun and 하다 in the 하다 adjective is so strong that they cannot be split. To negate the adjective, please just add 안 before the noun portion, as in 안 깨끗하다, not 깨끗 안 하다. Keeping this in mind, please pause the video for a moment and try to say these sentences out loud one by one, and then hit replay to check your answers. 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동 안 해요. Or 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동을 안 해요. Or 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동하지 않아요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착 안 해요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착을 안 해요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착하지 않아요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화 안 해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화를 안 해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화하지 않아요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소 안 해요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소를 안 해요. 조는 저녁에 방 청소를 안 해요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소하지 않아요. Good job. Now repeat after me out loud as a review. 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동 안 해요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착 안 해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화하지 않아요. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소하지 않아요. Now, while watching the next video, please pay attention to how noun plus 하다 verbs can be used to speak about past and future events.
히토미는 주말에 공부했어요.
아람이는 오후에 컴퓨터를 사용했어요.
로아는 아내와 함께 식사했어요.
카이는 영화표를 예매할 거예요.
조는 주말에 고궁을 구경할 거예요.
Did you notice how 하다 was changed to indicate the past tense? Yes, 했어요, as in 공부했어요. How about for the future tense? Just 리을 거예요 was attached to the stem, as in 공부할 거예요. Then how would you say 히토미 studied over the weekend? 히토미는 주말에 공부했어요. Or 히토미는 주말에 공부를 했어요. How about Kai will reserve a movie ticket? 카이는 영화표를 예매할 거예요. Again, please pause the video and try to say the following sentences aloud in Korean. 아람이는 오후에 컴퓨터를 사용했어요. Together in Korean is 함께. It is usually located after the particle 와과 to express that the two people indicated by the nouns linked with the particle 와과 are doing something together. 로하는 아내와 함께 식사했어요. 로하는 아내와 함께 식사를 했어요. 조는 주말에 고궁을 구경할 거예요. 조는 주말에 고궁 구경을 할 거예요. 방이 깨끗할 거예요. Here, 깨끗하다 is an example of a noun plus 하다 adjective, and as you can see, the same rule applies as does with the 하다 verb combination when it comes to changing tenses, both past and future. For your reference, to speak formally in the past tense, take the 하다 away from the basic form and add 했습니다 instead, as in 공부했습니다. As for the future tense, attach the 리을 겁니다 ending as in 공부할 겁니다. Now repeat after me out loud. 히토미는 주말에 공부했어요. 아람이는 오후에 컴퓨터를 사용했어요. 로하는 아내와 함께 식사했어요. 카이는 영화표를 예매할 거예요. 조는 주말에 고궁을 구경할 거예요. Now it's time to learn how to create a noun plus 하다 interrogative form. First, let's watch a video.
아람 씨는 매일 아침에 운동해요? 히토미 씨는 오전에 학교에 도착해요? 로한 씨는 점심때 아내에게 전화했어요? 존 씨는 저녁에 방을 청소할 거예요?
Again, the only change is the intonation, right? The declarative format is the same as a sentence, but you need to add a rising tone at the end to signify that it's a question, as in 전화할 거예요? One thing to be careful about is, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? That when speaking formally, the last word of the sentence 다 should be changed to 까, as in 전화할 겁니까? Again, let me give you some English sentences. Please pause the video, try to say them out loud in Korean, and then replay the video to check your answers. Please don't forget to give special attention to your intonation. And one more thing, please try not to forget to use the bound noun 씨 in your sentences. 아람 씨는 매일 아침에 운동해요? 아람 씨는 매일 아침에 운동을 해요? 히토미 씨는 오전에 학교에 도착해요? For your reference, in Korean, when you talk about calling someone, the word 전화하다 is usually used with the particle 에게, as in 친구에게 전화하다. So you can say, 로한 씨는 점심때 아내에게 전화했어요? 로한 씨는 점심때 아내에게 전화를 했어요? 존 씨는 저녁에 방을 청소할 거예요? 존 씨는 저녁에 방 청소를 할 거예요? 존 방은 깨끗해요? Again, repeat after me out loud. 아람 씨는 매일 아침에 운동해요? 히토미 씨는 오전에 학교에 도착해요? 로한 씨는 점심때 아내에게 전화했어요? 존 씨는 저녁에 방을 청소할 거예요? 존 방은 깨끗해요? Good job! Now by solving the questions on page 127, let's review what we've learned today. Number 1. Choose the right picture. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소해요. 조는 방을 청소해요. John cleans his room, and it happens 저녁에 in the evening. In picture number 3, you can see John cleaning his room, and behind him, there's a window overlooking the dark scenery outside. So obviously, that's the right answer. Next, 로하는 아내와 함께 식사했어요. Rohan had a meal with his wife, so number 1 best describes the sentence. Now question number 2. Complete the sentence. Choose from the list. Number 1, 도착 is a noun meaning arrival, and to turn this noun into a verb, you need to add the suffix 하다, right? And the conjugated present form is 해요. 히토미는 오전에 학교에 도착해요. Number 2, 전화하. This is the verb stem of 전화하다, and out of the words in the list, only 지 않아요, an ending to negate a sentence in the present tense, can be attached to this stem. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화하지 않아요. Number 3, 청소하. This is the stem of 청소하다, and again, only 지 않아요 can be used to create an accurate answer. 조는 저녁에 방을 청소하지 않아요. Number 4, 전화. This is the noun portion of the verb 전화하다, and to conjugate it in the present tense, we need to change 하다 to 해요. 로하는 점심시간에 아내에게 전화해요. Number 5, 공부. This is the noun portion of the verb 공부하다, and to conjugate it in the past tense, as you've already learned, you need to change 하다 to 했어요. So it would be 히토미는 주말에 공부했어요. Number 6, 운동하다. In the present tense is 운동해요, so it would be 아람이는 매일 아침에 운동해요. Number 7, 예매. This is the noun portion of the verb 예매하다, and to conjugate into the future tense, you need to attach the 리을 거예요 ending to the stem 예매하. So 예매할 거예요. 카이는 영화표를 예매할 거예요. Lastly, number 8. The correct way to conjugate a 하다 verb in the past tense is, as you know, by changing the 하다 portion to 했어요. So, 식사했어요. 로하는 아내와 함께 식사했어요. Alright, now let me describe to you what my daily schedule usually looks like. 저는 매일 아침 6시에 일어나요. 방 청소를 해요. 8시에 사무실에 도착해요. 점심시간에 친구에게 전화해요. 6시에 부모님과 함께 저녁 식사를 해요. 8시에 집에 와요. 주말에는 친구와 영화를 볼 거예요. 어제 저녁에 영화표를 예매 못했어요. 오늘 저녁에는 예매할 거예요. Now it's your turn. Please pause the video for a moment and outline your daily routine. And again, please don't hesitate to use your dictionary if needed to find words to accurately describe your real daily routine. Excellent!
Today, you learned some features of the noun plus 하다 verbs and adjectives. 하다, which you discovered today, is a suffix that can turn a noun into a verb or an adjective, right? You're going to encounter another type of verb that ends in 하다 in our next lesson, for example, 슬퍼하다. That sounds quite similar to 슬프다, doesn't it? You've learned that before it means to be sad, but interestingly, 슬퍼하다 also means to be sad. Then what's the difference between those two words? Well, that's one of the questions I receive the most from my students. I'm sure the answer you're going to get during your next lesson will be one of the most satisfying in your journey of learning Korean. So please stay tuned. See you!